Well, Governor Scott Walker's push to curb collective bargaining, just part of his effort to tackle a problem that is facing not just him, but many governors around the country. Big debt levels and falling tax revenues. Bad combo, right? Your next guest says a result of all that red ink could be bankruptcy for some state and local governments. Peter Kaufman is the president and head of restructuring and distressed M&A firm, the Gordian Group. Peter, good to see you.
Nice to be here.
All right, so they're arguing about collective bargaining, that's what they say, but ostensibly it probably does, at the end of the day, come back down to money. Wisconsin, perhaps a lead for other states. Where does this end, do you think?
Well,
in court, at bankruptcy court?
I think you've got to divide states and municipalities. States, of course, is not legally permitted to file for bankruptcy at this point in time, but they could default. But I'm really focused on the municipalities as well as the states, because there's a real problem. There's a mismatch between revenues and expenses on almost all these municipalities. There's $2.9 trillion of municipal bonds out there. There's a $125 billion gap collectively in the municipal budgets these days. And the threshold issue is, will there be the political will with municipalities to fix their capital structure problems by raising taxes?
Okay, I want you to answer your own question then, but also I want you to comment on this. If many cities were corporations that did not have the power to tax, would they have already filed?
Well, filing for Chapter 11 or the
municipalities
Chapter 9, that's not the real issue. The real issue is, are they going to right-size their capital structures? Are they going to do something in or out of Chapter 9? If you're willing to use Chapter 9 as a tool if you're a municipality, then you can get something done outside of Chapter 11. A hallmark for successful financial restructurings in or out of Chapter 11 or Chapter 9 is an equitable sharing of the pain, except when Gordian Group's advising them, we like our clients to get a disproportionately larger piece of the pie. But equitable sharing of the pain is a benchmark of a successful restructuring. Look at what you have going on in Wisconsin. There, they've got budget issues. They don't seem to have the political will to raise taxes. They're looking to lay it all off on their unions and public pensioners. It's, in fact, Brian, it's the exact opposite of what happened in General Motors, where I was an advisor, Gordian was an advisor, which was there, similarly situated unsecured creditors, unions and bondholders, the U.S. government preferred the unions and funded a restructuring which benefited the unions and wiped out the bondholders. Here you've got the reverse. You're looking to keep, Wisconsin is saying nothing about what's happening to their bondholders, but they're looking to have the union take all the pain. I don't think that's a recipe for a successful restructuring, and I further believe that politicians around the country, and these are all political decisions, municipalities and otherwise, are going to find it increasingly difficult to just hurt unions and leave the perceived to be wealthy municipal bondholders alone.
But with General Motors, right, with GM's bankruptcy, I could go out and buy another brand of car, right? If they fight or they strike or they go bust, I can go get a Ford or a Chrysler, who also filed, or whatever, a Hyundai, Kia. The union workers, there's a great op-ed about this in the Wall Street Journal today, the union workers have in some cases a monopoly, right? Do you think it's an antitrust issue, collective bargaining?
I'd rather focus on how you can't, I don't think politically you're going to be able to hurt unions so badly in this country, public unions, and not also get the bondholders to the table and say, you know something, everybody has to share some pain. And that's what I think is going to happen here. Do I think that it's going to be the end of the municipal bond market? I don't. But do I think that there will be defaults? Do I think that there will be compromises for bonds? I absolutely do.
Very quickly, how do we get then big municipal bondholders to the table? How do you involve them in the process so it's not just government versus union?
Well, you call everybody to the table and say, we can do this in Chapter 9 or outside of Chapter 9, but we need everybody here to sacrifice a little bit. That's how you do it.
So they should take some haircuts, bondholders, you think, so, in some cases?
Equitable sharing of the pain.
Unless it's the Gordian Group. Unless it's the Gordian Group. Peter, your firm, Peter Kaufman, thank you very much. Good to see you, buddy.